My son grinned. I'm the boss now, you clean the toilet. The next day, I took my revenge. There's a specific kind of silence that hurts more than shouting. It's the silence that comes after someone you love breaks your heart into pieces, looks you in the eye, and smiles while doing it. People say that a mother's love is unconditional. They say we forgive everything, but they don't tell you what happens when that love is treated like a weakness. They don't tell you what happens when the child you raised becomes the man who thinks he owns you. My name is Eleanor, and for 25 years, I lived for one person, my son, David. I skipped meals so he could eat. I worked double shifts so he could study. I ignored my own pain so he could smile. I thought I was building a future for us. I thought I was raising a son, but I was wrong. I was raising a boss. It happened on a Sunday, a normal, sunny Sunday. I was sick. I had a fever. My head was spinning, and I just wanted to rest. But the house was messy, and David, my own flesh and blood, looked at me. He didn't ask if I was okay. He didn't offer to help. He grinned. He actually grinned, and he said, "Mom, I'm the boss now. You clean the toilet." Those words, they didn't just hurt my ears. They killed something inside me. The mother in me died in that moment, and something else woke up. The next day, I took my revenge. Not with violence, not with shouting, but with silence. And when I was done, he begged. But it was too late. If you have ever felt unappreciated, if you have ever given everything to someone who treated you like nothing, stay with me. This story is for you. To understand why those words hurt so much, you need to understand where I came from. You need to understand the price I paid. When David was only 4 years old, his father passed away. It was sudden, a heart attack. One day he was there, laughing at the dinner table, and the next day I was standing in a hospital corridor, holding a death certificate and a 4-year-old boy who kept asking, "When is Daddy coming home?" People told me, "Eleanor, you're young. Remarry, put the boy in a boarding school, focus on yourself." But I couldn't do that. How could I leave David? How could I let someone else raise him? I made a promise to myself that night. I promised that no matter how hard life got, David would never feel the lack of a father. I would be both parents. I would be the shield. So, the struggle began. I woke up at 4 a.m. every single day. I worked as a cleaner in an office building before the sun came up. Then, I rushed to a retail store to work the day shift. By the time I got home, it was 7 p.m. My feet were swollen. My back was aching. But the moment I opened the door, I had to smile. David needed to see a happy mom. He couldn't know that I was crying in the bus stop sometimes. He couldn't know that I often ate only one meal a day so he could have fresh fruit and new shoes. I remember one Christmas, he wanted a specific toy. It was expensive. I didn't have the money, so I sold my wedding ring, the only thing I had left from my husband. I sold it, bought the toy, and wrapped it. When David opened it, his eyes lit up. He hugged me and said, "You're the best mom in the world." Those words, they were my fuel. For 20 years, I lived for those words. I thought that if I gave him everything, he would learn to value everything. I thought sacrifice teaches gratitude. I was wrong. Sacrifice sometimes just teaches people that you will always be there, no matter what, that you're a resource, not a person. David grew up. He was smart. I made sure of that. I paid for his tuition, his books, his coaching classes. I never said no to his education. When he got into university, I was prouder than I was the day I got married. I thought, finally, the hard part is over. He will get a job. He will take care of me. We will be a team. I imagined us sitting on the porch when I was old, drinking tea, talking about how far we came. I didn't know that the finish line was actually a cliff. The change didn't happen overnight. It was slow, like water erosion. You don't see the rock breaking until it collapses. David got a job at a tech company. Good salary? Very good salary. Much more than I ever made in my life. When he got his first paycheck, he bought himself a car. A shiny, expensive car. He didn't offer to pay off my debts. He didn't offer to renovate the old house I was struggling to maintain. He said, "Mom, don't worry. I got this. You just relax." I thought relax meant he would take care of the bills. But relax apparently meant become the housekeeper. We moved into a bigger house. His house? Technically, he put the down payment down. But I contributed my savings too. But he never let me forget that he was the provider. The tone of his voice changed. If dinner was 10 minutes late, he would sigh loudly. If his shirts weren't ironed perfectly, he would throw them on the chair and say, "Did you even check this?" If I asked him for money for medicine, he would look at me like I was asking for a loan. Again, "Mom, you need to budget better." Budget better. I who had budgeted every single penny for 2 decades. Then, he got married. Sarah? She was nice at first, but she saw how David treated me, and she learned from him. Why would she respect me if her husband didn't? Soon, I wasn't mom anymore. I was just there, in the way. I started eating in the kitchen while they ate in the dining room. I started waiting until everyone was asleep to watch TV. I made myself small. I thought, maybe if I don't complain, they will love me again. I became invisible. And when you make yourself invisible for too long, people forget you can see them. They forget you have feelings. They forget you have a breaking point. I tried to talk to David once. I said, "David, I'm getting older. My knees hurt. Maybe we can hire a cleaner for the heavy work?" He laughed. He actually laughed. He said, "Mom, why waste money? You're home all day. What else do you do? What else do you do?" That question haunted me. Did he not see the cooking, the cleaning, the laundry, the managing? Or did he think, because it was done by a mother, it had no value? Because it didn't have a price tag. It was free. I realized then, I wasn't his mother anymore. I was an employee who didn't get paid. An employee who couldn't quit. Or so he thought. Now, we come to that Sunday. The day everything changed. I had caught a flu. I was burning up with fever. I had taken medicine, but it wasn't working. I lay in bed shivering, hoping someone would notice, hoping someone would bring me a glass of water. Hours passed. No one came. Finally, around 2 p.m., I dragged myself out of bed. I needed to use the bathroom. When I opened the door, it was a mess. Toilet paper everywhere, water on the floor. It was disgusting. I sighed. I thought, I'll clean it later. I'm too sick. I went to the kitchen to get water. David was there. He was sitting at the table with 2 of his friends. They were laughing, drinking coffee. I leaned against the counter and said, "David, the upstairs toilet is overflowing. Can you call a plumber or can you please clean it? I'm really not feeling well." The room went quiet. His friends stopped laughing. They looked at David. David slowly put his coffee cup down. He stood up. He walked toward me. He wasn't worried. He wasn't concerned. He looked me up and down, and then he grinned. It was a smirk, a look of power. He turned to his friends and said, "You see this? This is what happens when you spoil them." Then he looked at me. "Mom, I'm the boss now. You clean the toilet." One of his friends chuckled. David added, "I work hard all week. I bring the money. You stay home, Cleaning is your job. Don't forget your place. Don't forget your place. In that moment, the fever didn't matter. The headache didn't matter. The only thing I felt was ice. Cold, hard ice running through my veins. He didn't see a mother. He saw a servant. He saw someone beneath him. I looked at him. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just nodded. I said, "Okay." I turned around. I walked to the cupboard. I took out the cleaning supplies. I walked to the bathroom. I locked the door. And I stood there, looking at the mess. I could have cleaned it. I had cleaned much worse in my life. But as I stood there, I realized something. If I clean this, I am accepting my place. If I clean this, I am agreeing that I am less than him. I put the cleaning supplies down. I walked out of the bathroom. I walked past the living room where they were still laughing. I walked into my bedroom, and I locked the door. That night, I didn't cook dinner. That night, the house was silent. But inside my head, a plan was forming. Revenge isn't always about hurting someone back. Sometimes, the best revenge is removing yourself from the equation. David thought I was dependent on him. He thought I had nowhere to go. He thought I was too old, too weak, too broken. He was wrong. While they slept, I packed. I didn't take much, just my clothes, my documents, and the savings I had secretly kept. Yes, even when I was giving him everything, I kept a little aside. A mother's instinct, always have a backup. I wrote a letter. I placed it on the kitchen table, right next to his car keys. The letter said, "David, you said you are the boss, and you said cleaning is my job, so I have decided to retire. A boss manages his own house. You wanted independence. You have it. I am going to stay with my sister. Do not call me. Do not come looking for me. When you learn the difference between a mother and a maid, maybe we can talk. Until then, good luck, boss." At 5 a.m., I walked out of that house. I didn't look back. I took a taxi to the train station. I went to my sister's house in the next city. She was shocked to see me. She asked, "What happened?" I just said, "I finally woke up for the first week. I did nothing. I slept. I ate when I wanted. I watched TV. I didn't worry about ironing shirts. I didn't worry about cooking meals. My phone, it rang, again and again. David?" I let it go to voicemail. I heard from my sister that the house was a mess. David couldn't find his socks. He couldn't cook. He burned the rice. The toilet remained dirty for 3 days because he didn't know how to fix the overflow properly. Sarah, his wife, was angry. She wasn't used to doing everything herself either. They were fighting. The boss was drowning in his own house. After 1 week, the call stopped. Then, the text started. "Mom, where are you? This isn't funny." I didn't reply. "Mom, come back. We need you." I didn't reply. You see, for 25 years, I was always available. I was always yes. By saying no, by saying nothing, I became powerful. 2 weeks later, I was sitting in my sister's garden, drinking tea. The sun was shining. I felt lighter than I had in years. A car pulled up. It was David. He looked terrible. Unshaven, tired eyes. His clothes were wrinkled. He got out of the car. He didn't smirk this time. He didn't grin. He walked toward me slowly. He fell to his knees. He started crying. "Mom, please, come home. I can't do it. The house, it's falling apart. Sarah is angry. I miss you." I looked at him. I remembered the fever. I remembered the dirty toilet. I remembered the words, "You clean the toilet." I said, "David, stand up." He stood up. I said, "You told me you were the boss. A boss handles his problems. You told me cleaning was my job. Now you know, it's everyone's job. He shook his head. I was wrong, Mom. I was arrogant. I forgot everything you did. I forgot who I am because of you. Please, forgive me. I didn't hug him immediately. I said, I will come back, but not as a servant. I will come back as a guest. You will hire a cleaner. You will cook your own meals. And you will respect me. If you break this rule, even once, I leave forever. And next time, I won't come back. He nodded. He understood. He didn't try to argue. He didn't try to use money as power. For the first time in years, he looked at me like a son looks at a mother, with respect, with fear of losing me. I did go back, but things are different now. I have my own room. I have my own money. I have my own life. David helps in the house. He respects my time. He learned a hard lesson. That love is not a doormat. That family is not a hierarchy. I share this story not to tell you to leave your children, but to tell you, never lose yourself. Never let anyone, not even your own blood, treat you like you're less than human. Your sacrifice is valuable. Your time is valuable. You're valuable. If you're watching this and you feel used, know that you have the power to change the dynamic. You don't have to accept disrespect. You don't have to clean the toilet if it means flushing your own dignity. Thank you for listening to my story. If this touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Remember, you are not a servant. You're a queen. And it's time you started acting like one.